She likes to bang down low in the paint, a really strong finisher at the rim. It'll be a fun matchup for us to keep an eye on tonight.
First battle between the two is won by Timpson. Off and running here in Tallahassee. Latson, pull up, Jay short. Rebound scooped up by Coco Mitchell, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia. Getting her first career start today. Big news out of the Jacksonville camp. No Eden Battle today, did not travel with the team. Second game she's missed this year. One of the top scorers in the country. Now missing 20 points per game on the floor for the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for these JU Dolphins. Last season in this matchup, Eden Battle put up 26 points for the Dolphins, and without that tonight, that's going to cause Special Jennings to have to be a little more creative with these lineups. And there you see Mitchell getting her first start of the season.
Makayla Edwards, a seasoned vet, says Timpson swats that out of bounds. Ho-hum, just another block for Makayla Timpson, who has been just a force around the rim. Special Jennings said, hey, this team needs to be tough. So I like our matchup. I like what we've done to start this year. It's 6-4, but it's about executing down the stretch. Mitchell, end of the shot clock, has to hoist. Good rebound by Snoop Turnage.
Yeah, this is a JU Dolphin team that's going to look to try to get it in the paint and score in a variety of ways from the paint. Florida State will do the same, and there you see Tania Latson with the assist to KK Timpson.
Latson off the cross. Beats Timpson to get the party started. And Timpson in the passing lane knocks it out of bounds, trying to start the break. But that's something Brooke Wyckoff has really loved about her team as we take a look at this unselfish play.
Yeah, Tania Latson really has improved in all facets of her game. We talk all the time about her scoring. She is the nation's leading scorer, but her ability to see the floor, assist to her teammates, her assists are up, her steals are up. She's got more blocks than she's had in past years. I think defensively, Latson's really looked to improve in so many different areas.
Layup underneath does not go. Great defense again on Garrett. Kick out. Turnage, free to fire. Too strong. Jacksonville coming off a tough loss at Marshall last Friday. Lost only by 2 to the Thundering Herd, a game where they gave up 14 threes. Outside shooting not a strong suit for this Dolphins club as they come up empty again. Numbers the other way. Here's
definitely
Latson.
Numbers on this one.
Villegas, no hesitation, no. Turnage, second try, still no. Third chance, there it goes. All reliable there to clean it up.
And that last possession, JU sent 4 players to the offensive glass. Not sure that's the best advice against a Florida State team that loves to push it in transition. They need to reconsider that to try to stop Florida State on the break.
I wouldn't try running with this Seminole squad.
I don't think I would either.
Here's Priscilla Williams, the Oregon transfer. Pass in and out of the hands of Craig. Latson streaks down the lane and scores again. And already a quick timeout from Special Jennings, 2.5 minutes in. We'll step aside in Tallahassee. Jacksonville in an early hole on the road.
A coach who wants everyone to give their all. And J.D. Power's #1 compact SUV for long-term dependability for 2024. The all-new 2025 Equinox and Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Crypto wasn't for him. He was more of a hardware guy. But those credit card fees kept sneaking up on him. Then part-time cashier / full-time grandson had another idea. Crypto payments. Lower fees, less paperwork, more profit.
Thank you.
Crypto wasn't for him. Until it was.
Slay the season with Hisense 100-inch TVs. Up to 40% off. Get a slam dunk deal this holiday season. You're gonna need a bigger Christmas tree. Win the holidays with Hisense.
Brooke Wyckoff and Florida State off to another strong start here at home, and that has just been this team's MO to start the season. I mean, averaging over 100 points per game in this building. They are not just beating teams, they are running them off the floor.
There's something special here going on at the Tucker Center. Brooke Wyckoff has her squad rolling here at home, but games get a little bit tougher here come January when you bring in the ACC opponents.
Good job by Mitchell to low by Latson there, but tipped out of bounds by the Seminoles, trying to get back to their point guard, Sanaya Garrett, 5'7" sophomore from Philadelphia. But from Florida State, and that 101-51 win against Drexel on Sunday, most efficient day this season from the floor, 57%, scored on 63% of their possessions. But right now it's the defense making life tough around the rim. Latson right back to work. Feeds Simpson again, and she has her third basket in as many minutes.
Tanaya Latson making things easy for her teammate KK Timpson. Tanaya doing the hard work, getting by the defenders, drawing all the attention. KK Timpson just has to catch and lay it in.
Strong drive here, and Priscilla Williams is rewarded. The senior from Houston will head to the line after we take a look at this basket.
Hey, look there, nice crossover by Tanaya Latson, and then just dump down KK Timpson, no move needed, just take it up strong. That last foul, KK Timpson looked a little puzzled. She was puzzled because it wasn't on her, it was actually on Carla Villegas, the sophomore from Spain. Will get whistled for that foul. Timpson already with a couple of big blocks here early on in this first quarter.
So Williams at the line, 6'2" senior, coming from Oregon by the way of USF, just down 75, and then she started her career at Syracuse on her fourth year for school in as many years.
Yeah, she actually faced this Florida State team, I believe, as a freshman at Syracuse here in Tallahassee.
Free throw is a big deal for Jacksonville. They draw 27 fouls per game. They love to live at the line. Gordon knocks it down from deep.
Florida State likes to live at a different line. They like to live at the three-point line. Amari Gordon making the Dolphins pay.
In 7 home games this year, Florida State has made a collective 73 pointers. Big reason why they're averaging past the century mark. Step back three. Got it over the outstretched hand of Timpson, but I have to think that might have affected the shot. Gordon, right to the rack, has it blocked by Williams. Latson open, and hits.
So deflating for Jacksonville. They make a great defensive play. Priscilla Williams gets the big block, and then Amari Gordon just grabs the ball, kicks it out to Tanaya Latson, who bangs it for three.
An early barrage from Florida State. Garrett, kick to the corner. Mitchell alone answers. We have some contacts after the basket. Sydney Bowles got tangled up.
They're going to count the bucket on that one. The bucket was good by Mitchell. That was a nice look from three for the Dolphins. And then Priscilla Williams going to get whistled for the foul after the basket goes through.
Good for Mitchell. The freshman was just 2 of 11 from three on the season before that make. Timpson with space. Almost surprised they left her open.
I think she was a little surprised at how open she was. She could have taken it right up and kind of stutter-stepped it and then short-armed it.
Makayla Edwards to the rim, draws the foul. Now look, I know we're 5 minutes in, but Jacksonville not deterred after getting some blocked shots, getting some tough contests. They are going to want to pound it in the paint all night.
Yeah, they're going to stick to their game plan and try to get the ball into the paint. They're doing it from their guard positions and getting some dribble penetration. Florida State having to come over and help and committing some fouls. That one on Valenzuela.
So on the last trip, Dolphins averaging 27 free throw attempts per game. Good enough for second in the country, but they lead the NCAA with nearly 50 free throws made per game.
And they average almost 20 made free throws a game. That's a lot. I thought Florida State shot a lot of free throws, and looked at that one. And
they love to get after it on this end, but Gordon left alone. Can't make him pay again. Previously hit a three from that same spot. Mitchell running the break, feeds inside, and there's Craig.
Nobody there to help on the backside. Nice finish from Craig with no move needed.
Valenzuela, too strong.
Makayla Edwards in there at just 5'11", doing a nice job on Makayla Timpson, keeping her off the offensive glass. Looked like there might have been 2 Dolphins that immediately went to KK Timpson as soon as the shot went up.
Bowles pokes it out of bounds. Avery Treadwell come off the bench to see her first action, so will Amaya Bonner. It's just the turnstile. It's just the rotating bodies for this team that averages 80 possessions per game. Also returns as Craig right back to work.
Good strong take in the paint from Sanaya Craig. Back-to-back buckets for her. JU right back in this game. It's an 8-0 run for the Dolphins.
In just 65 seconds. Knowles can't put a stop there. Craig wanted a foul.
Craig went down hard. Yeah, I hope she's all right. They certainly need her in this game.
Now she's
limping.
hobbling on one leg. Calling for a sub, and now officials will call time.
That is the last thing that the Dolphins need. We already mentioned that their leading scorer, Eden Battle, not here tonight. Now, probably their second best player, second leading scorer, Sanaya Craig, having to be helped off.
Can't even put any weight on her left leg. Sanaya Craig nearly averaging a double-double in her sophomore season. Special Jennings beaming with so much pride when talking about her development from freshman to sophomore year, saying, you know what, she just wants it more. That's why you're seeing the explosion in so many stat columns. Bowles left alone. And the Knowles now 0 for their last 5 after the hot start.
JU a little bit undersized in there, but not afraid to go bang around in the paint and draw another foul.
If they don't bite on the first move, then maybe the second or the third, maybe the fourth.
Whatever it takes. I love the resiliency of this Jacksonville team. That was Makayla Edwards in there, banging around. She's going to go back to the free throw line.
A patient Edwards admiring her own work up at the scoreboard. Making sure, yeah, that pivot foot didn't move on a second glance.
That looks good.
Edwards, who missed most of last year due to an injury, now in her 6th college season, 5th with the Dolphins, playing in her 103rd career college game tonight.
I'd say she's experienced.
Certainly love that for a Dolphins team that does return most of its core, much like the Seminoles. But added some good pieces like Coco Mitchell defending the perimeter. Mid-range jumper is pure from Bowles.
That bucket by Sydney Bowles will stop the 10-0 run of the Dolphins.
But a 4-point game in Tallahassee, much different just a year ago when these two teams met. Jacksonville in the first 8 minutes had just 5 points, trailed by 19 before they really settled in. Did play well and frustrated Brooke Wyckoff and her team in that second half. Garrett to the rim, and another foul call.
State now has committed 5 personal fouls already. Sent Jacksonville to the line already 6 times.
Simpson and Gordon will check back in. First foul on Turnage. Garrett a little off there, coming off her best performance of the young season. 15 points on the road at Marshall. First time she reached double figures this year. The point guard goes 0 for 2 at the line.
Normally a 72% free throw shooter is Garrett.
Latson feeds inside. Timpson puts it in, plus the foul.
Well executed play. That's a set play for Florida State. Called at the last dead ball. Sydney Bowles there with a nice screen to free up her teammate. That's Mariah Knight just a little bit late getting over there around the screen and commits the foul. Timpson will have a chance to earn a 3-point play.
Coming off another double-double from Sunday, her 6th of the season.
KK Timpson did have a double-double the last time these two teams met. It was 19 points and 12 rebounds for Timpson.
On the second try, Gordon got a piece of it. Blocked Mariah Knight. Transition opportunity, Latson for 3.
Sanaya Latson with a second made 3. Shooting at a hot 44% from the three-point line this season. Much improved from last year.
And Edwards responds right away. She's shooting just under 50% from deep this year.
That'll stop the 8-0 run for the Noles. Back and forth we go.
Offensive rebound. Timpson powers up, and she's in double figures already with 11.
Okay, Timpson playing big down there in the low post. Grabbing boards, putbacks, you name it, she's doing it for the Noles.
Mitchell got by, and with a little English. Nice little scoop and score for the freshman.
It's a nifty move around those long arms of KK Timpson.
First career start, got to make the most of it. Timpson gets fouled right around Knight, the 6'1 freshman down low.
That's a tough matchup for the freshman from Louisville, Kentucky. They have to go against an All-American caliber player of KK Timpson.
Yeah, I know you're about 2 months into college basketball, so you have some experience, but you don't see players like Makayla Timpson every day.
You certainly don't. KK Timpson's such a special player. Will certainly be amongst the players drafted this year in the WNBA.
Already 12 points in our opening stanza, and she is past her head coach who wore that number she wanted so badly.
And you asked Brooke Wyckoff about it. Brooke Wyckoff said, look, hey, I bring players here to beat all of my records. Brooke Wyckoff will tell them on a recruiting visit, look, I want your jersey hanging up there. Take mine down. I'm going to help you get yours in the rafters.
Nearly got the steal there. Played a big part in it. Bowles backing down, Mitchell falling away, scores.
Sydney Bowles with a nice strong finish in the paint for Florida State.
Well, the funniest thing when telling her, you know, Makayla's 12 points away from passing you, coach, she goes, really? I would have thought that happened by now.
Well, she's passed Brooke Wyckoff in blocks. She's passed her in rebounds. Points was the one category, really, that she hadn't eclipsed Brooke Wyckoff's mark.
How about another tough 2 for Jacksonville and Priscilla Williams? They continue to work it inside around the rim. And although some of these looks aren't high percentage, it's just that familiarity. They're used to being in tough spots, and they know how to make these shots.
They're doing a really good job of getting the ball into the paint. They've only got 8 paint points, but they've gotten almost all of those free throws have come from shot attempts in the paint, right in front of the rim.
Second foul on Amaya Bonner as well. First Noel with 2 personals. She'll take a seat on the bench. Against the JU zone. Nice little move there. Dos Santos, nothing but air. Latson comes up empty. And a rebound to Garrett. Final minute of the first quarter. Nice crossover from Garrett. Mitchell down the lane. Floater. Takes a couple of bounces off the rim, and it'll stay here after it was last touched by the Noles.
Jada Jones just inserted into the game, the 6'4 sophomore in there battling hard on the glass. Couldn't come up with it, but helped her team retain possession of the loose ball rebound.
Jacksonville called a timeout 2.5 minutes into the game, trailing 6-0. What a difference it has made for Special Jennings and her team as they draw yet another foul. Bowles charged with her first. This will be the 10th and 11th free throw attempts of the quarter.
You and I saw that same stat. That's a huge number, on pace for 40 free throws in a game attempted. They keep this up. It's got to make Special Jennings over there on the JU sidelines happy in her second season.
Well, maybe not that, though. They have come up empty on a few tries.
6 of 10 isn't going to make her super happy, but getting there 10 times certainly will. They can work on the percentage in the next quarter.
They have shot 40 free throws in a game already this year. That was against Hofstra just a couple of weeks ago at the end of November. Gordon won't go. Strong rebound from Jada Jones, the Jacksonville native.
Florida State now just 3 of 11 from the three-point line. And another foul.
Mitchell got by Dos Santos. And Simpson just extending out. That's tough. Offensive players going to get the benefit of the doubt more in those situations. Another chance to stop, catch their breath, and take 2 more at the nail.
Florida State going to have to do a little better job of avoiding that body contact. I think that play was clean up top for the block, but it was KK Timpson with the body, and good job by Mitchell to really get into the body of KK Timpson and draw that contact, get herself to the free throw line.
Timpson, after her first foul, takes a seat. Mitchell knocks down both. Shot clock turned off for Omaria Gordon and Florida State. It's all Knowles early, but Jacksonville has really settled in and they're showing their improvement from last year to this year. Bowles left alone, and another air ball. Still time for Jacksonville. He's got to put it up, and Mitchell never caught it cleanly. But what a start for the Jacksonville Dolphins. They're trailing, but they're right in it.
That they have drawn have come in the paint. They've gotten into the paint, they've made body contact, and they've gotten to the free throw line 13 times already in just 1 quarter of action.
Asked Special Jennings yesterday, what's the difference from year 1 to year 2? She said, you know what? We're just tough. Don't have to explain it. You have to see it. I'm proud how they've competed and battled to start the year. Contact. Won't go for Garrett. Second chance for Jacksonville. A great offensive rebounding team led by Sanaya Garrett, who's back into the game after coming up hobbling earlier in the first. Good transition defense. Gordon still accelerates and draws the foul.
Maria Gordon taking it right at Bailey Burns, sophomore. You can correct that. That is Sanaya Garrett. Garrett will get whistled for her personal. Florida State has only been to the line 3 times, and that's something that they are very good at, getting to the line as well. I mean,
especially Florida State's other star senior, who is the floor general for Brooke Wyckoff, and a rare miss. Just her 5th of the season for the 89% free throw shooter.
That is not what Florida State fans want to see. Tania Latson writhing in pain. Down, it looked like maybe she rolled her ankle. Teammate Amari Gordon back to check on her. Brooke Wyckoff out to check on her as well.
That is a huge development for Florida State. Tania Latson, who was big to build the early lead for Florida State. Already 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. It's just been so incredible to see how she's improved and developed her game. And her head coach has had nothing but praise, and saying, look, she's put it on herself. She's become such a great leader for us. We know how good we can be when Tania Latson is our engine.
Yeah, and it's quiet here at the Tucker Center. Everybody wants to know about the nation's leading scorer, making sure she's okay. Couldn't really tell what happened. I'm guessing that she probably landed on somebody's foot. She immediately went down, grabbed that ankle. Good news for Florida State is that they do have almost 2 weeks off. Special Jennings going to come out as well and check on Tania Latson. We already saw Sanaya Craig limp off and come back. Good to see at least Tania will be able to put a little bit of weight on that ankle. She heads to the bench and gets a nice round of applause again here from the Tucker Center crowd.
The Let's take that second look. Latson being helped off, checked out by the trainers now. On her way to the locker room. We'll keep you posted with any updates. Garrett drives, and on the strip, a foul is called. Bowles with her hand caught in the cookie jar, upset with the latest foul call against the Seminoles. It's her second.
Sadie Bowles has had some foul trouble throughout the early part of this season. She's going to have to go to the bench. Turnage going to come back in, and now it's an opportunity for some of these other players to step up into Nia Latson's absence. You know what KK Timpson can do, you know what Amari Gordon can do, but now you're going to need a player like Snoop Turnage, Amaya Bonner, Carla Villegas to step up and help in that point production.
Right on cue, Amaya Bonner rips down the rebounds.
Jacksonville with this 2-3 zone here. Seminoles haven't really had an answer.
Gordon's three pops in and out. Bailey Burns races inside. Off the rim, no good. Seminoles want to run.
To clean up.
Swing it over to Turnage. Still no luck over the backboard. And Florida State now 3 of 14 from deep.
Knowles started off really hot from the three-point line. Nia Latson made a couple. I believe it was Amari Gordon that got her first one to fall, and then none since.
Florida State shoots 36% on the season. That's good enough for 34th in the nation. Struggling since racing out to an early lead.
Credit Jacksonville for continuing to try to bang it inside. Take it right at the Seminoles.
That won't go for Craig. Bonner wide open.
Maya Bonner just hasn't found her stroke yet this season. Timpson with a big block there.
It looked like Timpson got a piece of it. And another one to her total in the first half. Mid-range J for Mitchell on target.
Ari Mitchell averages only 5 points a game, but got 9 already here tonight. She's been called on to step up big, and she is delivering for Special Jennings.
Former 1,000-point scorer in high school. Double comes for Timpson, and they knock the ball loose. Jada Jones stands tall for the Dolphins.
Well-executed play again for Timpson. They got her on that little curl screen, but then too many Jacksonville jerseys in green there to swat it away.
Just the first turnover by Florida State. Craig inside. Can't put the soft touch on that one. Timpson wanted it. Instead to Villegas.
Oh, Carla Villegas missed everything on that one.
It's got to be the fourth air ball by Florida State. Mitchell, why not? I know we said that in the first quarter. Does Jacksonville really want to run with a team that is suited for this pace? But they're doing well so far. And a foul on a reach-in. It goes against Bailey Burns.
It certainly looks like they do. They are trying to play at this same pace that Florida State wants to play at. So far, it's working for JU. It's just a 2-point game. That foul going to go on Burns, just her first.
Priscilla Williams back in. Villegas, book it. Makes amends for that miss on the last possession.
Carla Villegas just a couple steps behind that three-point line, but fires it up there anyway. Last time in this matchup between these two teams, Villegas had 14 points, 4 of 9 from the three-point line last season.
And once again, Jacksonville with an immediate retort. Every time it looks like Florida State could string together a run, the Dolphins have an answer.
That was Priscilla Williams knocking it down for the Dolphins on the last end.
Edwards hit the bottom of the backboard. 5-on-4 for a moment. Edwards slow to get back. And Craig, how about that one?
Great defense from Sanaya Craig.
Edwards running the floor, and we are tied.
Jacksonville bench explodes off that. They're fired up.
After trailing 14-2 in the opening minutes, Jacksonville sets us up dead even at 31. First Villegas, but Williams and the Dolphins refuse to go away. We got a good ball game in Tallahassee. In the opening minutes, it was looking like, shoot, here we go again. But Jacksonville flipped this game on its head. They were attacking. They were being rewarded. On the flip side, Florida State, 18 3-point attempts. Do you like that number on 32 total field goal attempts?
Well, that's the Florida State style. They like to have, 30 threes in a game. If they can attempt 33s, they feel like that's a good number, but they've got to connect on some. And if you're not connecting on some, you're going to have to either get some offensive rebounds or find ways to get some extra possessions and find easier ways to score if the three ball's not going down.
Jacksonville missing one of the top leading scorers, not just in the ASUN, but in the country. Eden Battle, not a problem right now as Timpson continues to dominate down low. She's up to a game-high 14.
Well, I think Florida State going to have to rely on a player like KK Timpson now that Tania Latson not in the lineup.
Look at KK get the ball. Just like a magnet to her hand. She has been active in this first half. She wants the ball again. Villegas again.
Carla Villegas on the season shoots at 44% from the three-point line. That's her second made three here tonight.
Great for her in her last 4 games. She was 1 for 11 entering tonight. Timpson again, another block.
Make that 4 blocks now for KK Timpson.
Villegas, could have been big for Florida State, and Snoop Turnage draws the foul on the O board.
And that's the offensive rebounding effort that Florida State's going to need again. You can continue to shoot that long ball if you've got some players that are willing to go in and crash the offensive glass so you can get second chance opportunities. Knowles already with 6 offensive rebounds, 7 second chance points off those.
Looking for more as we have a tie-up. Possession arrow favors Florida State after the first foul on Sanaya Craig. And they'll trigger in from underneath. This is the 12th meeting between these two schools. None of them have been particularly close as Timpson draws the blocking call, and Garrett took one right to the midsection.
KK Timpson just took the ball on the perimeter. Nobody came to close out. Took it right at Sanaya Craig.
Apologies for the mix-up. That will be the second foul on Craig. Second Dolphin with 2 fouls. Makayla Timpson, just another day at the office, but it does bode well for Florida State with no Tania Latson right now. Appeared to suffer an ankle injury earlier in the second quarter. The leading scorer in the country this season. Not right now. Timpson really picking them up.
KK Timpson, 16 points in 13 minutes of action. 7 rebounds to go along with that.
7-0 run over the last minute for Florida State. Garrett on a kick out. 3 in the key, called on the Dolphins.
That was Sanaya Craig that was camped out in there. Never really could get into much of a flow there on the offensive end for JU, and that'll be a turnover. Just their 3rd of the game. It's been a very cleanly played game. 2 turnovers for Florida State, just 3 now for JU.
Great move by Gordon. She wanted a foul, but she got hit on the wrist.
We'll stay with Florida State.
Don't see the ball fall out of Gordon's hands often. One of the great floor generals in the country. She drives. Oh! And we get a no-look wedgie. Just a little flick of the wrist. Ball goes back to JU.
Maria Gordon had cleared the defense and really gotten herself in a good position to finish that, and then I think just was a little bit farther away from the basket than she realized, didn't have enough on it.
That was like
get it over the rim.
Like a slow motion wedgie. I haven't seen one just kind of perfectly sit right there. Edwards attacks. Won't go.
I think that's a Maya Bonner that came over and altered that shot a little bit for Florida State.
Good defense by Williams to lock up Villegas. Pass inside Timpson. Just her second miss of the night. 6 for her first 7. Williams, the blow by, the dish, knocked out of bounds. It's Bonner.
Bonner came out of nowhere to swat that one away from Makayla Edwards, who looked like she was in good position to come up with the layup.
Special delivery, above the rim wedgie.
Great camera angle there.
Best play in basketball. I will always say you should get 1 point for that.
If you can get it stuck, you get an extra point.
I think it's tougher than making it. Edwards.
Except for a new rules cycle next year, we can nominate rules to be added. Maybe we think about adding that one, Sean.
Listen, if you
I
know
the
some
right
people
to talk to.
Yeah, I'll champion it. Williams fading away. Tough 2, doesn't go.
Snoop Turnage already with 8 rebounds for Florida State.
Great vision to find Villegas. Great pump fake. It's good! Once again, Villegas is catching fire from deep.
3 threes for 9 points for Carla Villegas, the sophomore from Spain.
6th time this year she has hit at least 3 threes in a game. Williams throws it away. Knowles with numbers the other way. Timpson streaking the floor all alone. And this matches Florida State's largest lead.
And that's a 12-0 run for Florida State after that timeout by Brooke Wyckoff. The Seminoles have responded.
Game of runs, isn't it, Melissa?
Certainly is.
Knowles breaking through thanks to the defense. You know what they say, best offense is a good defense.
Love to know what Brooke Wyckoff said to her team at that media break.
You do?
Whatever it was, it must have worked. We'll call it good coaching.
Great anticipation from Gordon. Nice move by Edwards. Floater off target. Second try, no luck.
That's got to be another block for KK Timpson. She certainly altered that shot.
Oh, great hesitation. Setting it up for Timpson. Gordon slow to get up as she picks up the assist there.
That's 20 points in the first half for KK Timpson. She had a game previously this season where she had 38. It was a new career high. On pace for that again here tonight.
Now her 4th 20-point game of the season.
Wow.
And finally, there's Mitchell to stop the bleeding after the 16-0 run over the last 4 minutes.
Mitchell's mid-range game has been on point tonight here, Sean. I've been extremely impressed with the freshman.
In double figures for the 2nd time in her career. Now a new season high with 11. Timpson, oh, so smooth, so pretty. You just can't stop Makayla Timpson.
Talked about KK Timpson in the open, and she has lived up to every bit of the praise that we gave her. They're just taking it right at Makayla Edwards, finishing through the contact. KK Timpson putting this team on her back.
Back in my day, we call that mouse in the house. When you have that kind of advantage, she never tried to speed up. She looked in control the entire time. It's her world, we're living in it. A deserved rest for KK Timpson. Treadwell checks in for her.
Make that a 19-2 run for the Seminoles over the last 4.5 minutes.
Meanwhile, for Jacksonville on this end, 1 for their last 8. Final minute of the first half. Garrett. Good defense by Bowles. Hands in the air. Williams. Nothing but air on that try. And a tie-up call between Turnage and Edwards.
And Snoop Turnage hasn't scored in this game, but has 9 rebounds and is helping her team to build this lead now 10 rebounds with that last one. They're going to give her credit for that as she created the tie-up and got the possession.
Don't talk enough about the players that know their roles and thrive in them. She doesn't try to be something she's not. Turnage accepts it, and that's why she's a starter. Gordon can't connect. And Treadwell draws the foul underneath. That might be on Craig. It would be her third. It is.
That's a bad break for the Dolphins. Craig already missed some time with an injury, had to come back in, and now has picked up her third personal foul. Avery Treadwell, the sophomore in there, battling hard on the glass. She's really stepped up this season, has provided some good minutes for Florida State, especially with the absence of Malaya Williams for Florida State, who's out with a lower leg injury.
Splits the pair at the line. Turnage tries to knock it to a teammate. Who wants it? Jacksonville does. Extra hustle from Kamari Mitchell.
That was two players with two personal fouls trying to be careful there. And Amaya Bonner and Sydney Bowles both trying to reach in and be aggressive, but also not pick up a third personal foul and have to go to the bench.
We'll say Florida State has been a little smarter, a little better with their fouls and taking risks in the second quarter. Oh, there's a gamble that pays off for Gordon. She draws the foul. It'll go on Mitchell. Just great anticipation from one of the best in the ACC at that.
That's a senior going against a freshman there, and I think the senior just kind of outsmarted the freshman, Kamari Mitchell. Nice job by Omari Gordon to come up with the big steal and get herself to the free throw line.
Florida State in the bonus shoots 2.
Florida State outscoring Jacksonville now 24-10 here in the second quarter.
Started to get those stocks that some people love to talk about. 11 in this first half, 6 blocks, 5 steals. In Sunday's win, the Noles had 22 stocks. The 4th time this year they've registered 20 or more. Let's be well on their way to hitting that mark once again. Jones never had a clean look at that feed. Gordon picks up the pace, no look, almost got it to drop. Edwards heave, no good. But what a final 5 minutes of the first half for Florida State. Brooke Wyckoff called for to Central New York, but that's what some people call it. All 10 around the floor, ball in the hands of Sydney Bowles, starting in place of Latson, and we're underway in the third quarter.
Yeah, for Florida State here, I think you have to continue to look to get the ball inside to KK Timpson.
Rare miss for Timpson, who's had a lot of great high percentage looks. Now 9 of 13 from the floor. Snoop Turnage, something we were talking about off camera. Tied her career high with 10 rebounds in the first half. She has been active on both ends of the floor, trying to create those second chances and then limiting those offensive rebounds for JU.
Yeah, and we talked about it again. She knows her role and she's playing it to perfection right now. That's exactly why she's in the game. She's got a rebound at that 4 position. She's doing a great job so far here in this game for Florida State.
Makayla Edwards trying to go backdoor, threw it right to Timpson. Odd man rush. Drop off for Gordon. More points off turnovers for Florida State. It is how they have built this 22-point lead. Brooke Wyckoff really lit a fire under him.
KK Timpson showing her goggles there on that one. Making sure everybody knows she's got that court vision. She's got the skills to handle the ball too, as you saw her on the break, leading the way.
She's chipped in 3 assists. Edwards can't connect. And a reach and foul going against Kamari Mitchell. It'll be her second.
It's a bit of a freshman mistake, I think, on that one. You just got to let that go. Sydney Bowles already had the ball. Yes, you want to be scrappy and aggressive, but no need to commit that foul. 93.5 feet from the basket. They need her in the game, and you can't risk picking up silly fouls. A little bit of a trap there.
Bowles on the blow-by, lays it in, and a chance for one more at the line.
That's a bad break for Sanaya Craig, as she already had those 3 personals, and then she was just a little bit late getting over there. I think if we take a look. She's indecisive. She didn't know if she should leave KK Timpson or if she should come over and try to stop the dribble penetration of Bowles. She got caught no man's land, and Bowles finished anyway, and Craig picks up her 4th personal foul.
Craig has been great, but has struggled with foul trouble like some other bigs that, you know, can dominate games. Did foul out in that 2-point loss at Marshall last time the Dolphins were on the floor prior to tonight. Another mid-range J. It's worked well for Mitchell, but that one pops out.
We've seen her knock those down already. She's the leading scorer for this JU team with 11 points already, most of those coming in the mid-range.
Turnage, short. Battle for the rebound, and Timpson going to be calling for the foul against Jada Jones.
KK Timpson going for the loose ball rebound. Wyckoff thought she had most of her hand on the ball, but that's now 3 personal fouls on KK Timpson, and that's a big loss for Florida State. Avery Treadwell not off the bench quick enough. KK Timpson gonna have to be smart on this defensive possession.
So Williams picks up the pace, and another foul. It's on Villegas. She claims innocence, but
doesn't matter, does it, at this point?
And that is something Brooke Wyckoff told us yesterday. And look, we know Jacksonville draws about 24 fouls per game. They shoot 27 free throws per game. You have to be mindful. We're not going to change our defensive identity, but we need to tell our players that any little reach, any little thing you're out of position, if you're on your heels, they're going to take advantage. And to Jacksonville's credit, for most of this game, they have.
Priscilla Williams there misses the shot and then goes and chases it down.
Mitchell in rhythm, but short. Ball's up the floor. Nice cross into the lane. Offensive foul.
Oh, wow, and that's 3 now on Sydney Bowles. She put her head down to get to the rim. It was a turnover as well. Take that nice little crossover move, and Edwards got there. Plenty of time.
There you go. That's what you pick up in over 100 career college games, right? What a big piece Edwards is and can be in ASUN play.
And you may have noticed her feet were inside that restricted area, but that restricted area not in play in women's college basketball anymore. So you can step in there and take a charge as long as you're set and not right underneath the cylinder. And for the 2nd time, we get a wedgie.
No. A double wedgie. What a Thursday night in Tallahassee, I tell you. There we go. Cameron Inouye. Love it when your referee gets after it.
Yeah, none of the players wanted to jump up there and knock it out, so Cameron takes matters into her own hands.
Yeah, I feel like
Mitchell with the wedgie this time.
It's opening the Titan pickle jar. Everybody wants to be the hero. Knock that ball loose as Williams knocks that mid-range jumper down. Jacksonville has been living in that middle area of the floor. It's a team that is only made 5 or more threes twice this season. It is not in their identity. They love to get to the line. They love to get those high percentage looks around the rim, but they settle for a lot of those good jumpers.
It's a lot of contact there on the dribbler. Sanaya Garrett with that arm bar all over Amari Gordon. I thought that contact might have actually been before the shot, but they're going to give Amari Gordon 2 shots on that one.
What you see from Garrett goes to what her head coach instills in her. Special Jennings, a special player at Xavier, nearly leading the Musketeers to a Final Four. And she was the point guard there and started well over 100 games in Cincinnati. That's the good and the bad for a team like Jacksonville that, like we mentioned, draws a lot of fouls, but they also foul a lot themselves. Nearly 22 fouls per game. That's the 12th most in the country as Garrett stays aggressive and scores.
Nifty Euro step there from Garrett. Her first made field goal of the game.
That's what she says the next step for the sophomore is being aggressive, needing to be a scorer. And Gordon will go right back to the line. She draws that foul on Mitchell.
Again, the senior taking it right at the freshman Mitchell. Mitchell thought she had her hands up and had backed away, but Mitchell saw it a little differently. Gordon with 12 points already.
Speaking of
6 from the line.
Aggressive point guards, right?
Yeah.
Knowing when to call her own number, that's what's been great to see the scoring attack for the three-headed monster, because we know how good Latson and Simpson can be on any given night, but Amaria Gordon might really be that X factor in Florida State.
I don't think Amaria Gordon gets enough love, honestly, for what she brings. She gets overshadowed by the heroic play of Tanaya Latson and KK Timpson, but Gordon right there to do everything she's asked to do for Florida State. There she was stepped in the passing lane. JU going to get whistled for the travel, but if not, Gordon had come up with the steal.
Yeah, that only school in the country right now with 3 players are in the ACC in the top 15. Also in the top 50 nationally. They are good at getting buckets. Villegas, why not? From way downtown.
Carla Villegas looking like she was going to pass, and Kamari Mitchell just not quite close enough on the closeout. Makes the Dolphins pay. 4th made 3 for Villegas.
After that slow start, Villegas now 4 of 8 from downtown. Tough turnaround, doesn't go for Williams. Bonner trying to go baseline, steps out of bounds. Just the 3rd turnover for Florida State. Mariana Valenzuela returns, as does Hayani Dos Santos. For Snoop Turnage and Amaria Gordon. She really does have those moments where you just say, OMG.
She really does. She makes some circus acrobatic shots at the rim. We saw the one earlier that ended up being the wedgie, but we've seen her make that one throughout this season and throughout her career here in Tallahassee.
Team high 5 assists tonight. Has a handful of steals as well. Nice move again by Garrett. Everything but the finish inside.
Avery Treadwell there to clean up the defensive glass for the Noles.
Dos Santos knifes her way inside for 2.
Nice left-handed finish from Dos Santos. Switches the ball to her left side. Finishing on the left side of the rim.
Williams, no. Rebound Treadwell and draws the foul. And that should be free throws for Florida State.
I think that's frustration from Priscilla Williams. She made a really nice move, couldn't quite finish it, and then was frustrated, goes ahead and fouls Avery Treadwell.
Timeout on the floor midway through the 3rd quarter. Florida State stays hot out of halftime.
You might not need crypto to sell a truck. But when wire transfers take forever, banks aren't open, and cash isn't convenient, well, you just might.
Here we go. They're following us. This is awesome. Giddy up.
The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Amaria Gordon, the head of the snake, 3 steals, and running the offense. It has all come together. Both ends of the floor, like we said, this offense can score a lot because of what they can do aggressively defensively. And those stocks, when you look at the difference from last year to this year and just how they take care of the basketball, is something that you hope carries over into ACC play.
Yeah, Florida State has implemented a new defensive system in this offseason, and there you can show what the effects of that new system have been. The whole mission of the defense is to disrupt on the what the offense is trying to do, and I think so far you would say that's been successful here tonight for Florida State.
KK Timpson checks back in for Treadwell. It was funny talking to Brooke Wyckoff yesterday and saying, what do you like more, those stocks that you just bundle up every single game, or is it the valuing possession and not turning it over and then turning your opponent over? She goes, you know, I don't really get to think about that because I take it for granted, where you just focus on other things that you want to clean up or improve. She goes, you know what? My point guards and the way we play at pace and don't really turn the ball over, I should pat my team on the back for that, because it's just, I don't even think about that until you ask that question.
Yeah, it's something that certainly you take for granted. Florida State averaging just 10 turnovers a game, which is third nationally for fewest turnovers.
I'll take that on the chin. Yeah, that's on me, guys.
It's on us.
It is only the fourth. It's only the fourth turnover of the night for Florida State.
But on the flip side, Florida State has forced 9 turnovers, which isn't great, not near their season average, but they've created 15 points off of those 9 turnovers. So they're leading directly to scoring opportunities, which is huge for Florida State.
And credit to Jacksonville, especially throughout that first quarter when they were neck and neck with Florida State after falling behind big. Garrett goes underneath for 2. Jacksonville was taking care of the ball, but again, Florida State's pressure and the pace, you can only go toe-to-toe for so long. Pass got deflected on its way to Timpson. And it's back-to-back giveaways.
Too many hands in the way on that one. Right idea, but Dos Santos couldn't deliver it. Credit Jacksonville for those deflections, keeping that away from KK Timpson.
And the general returns after that.
That break was long enough for Amari Gordon. She's going to have some time off after this.
Yeah, quite literally a breather. Nearly another steal. Valenzuela gets on the floor. It stays with the Dolphins, but another block for Timpson.
Make that 6 for KK Timpson in the block category.
To go with 2 steals. Corner. No. Gordon? Too strong. Timpson. Why not? Pinballs around, and it finally goes through the nets.
Nice move by Williams, and KK Timpson had to just back off. She couldn't risk going for the block on that one. She was a little off balance and didn't want to commit that 4th personal foul.
Bonner all alone. Too strong. Into the arms of Priscilla Williams, piecing together another strong performance. One of those new pieces for Special Jennings. Nice drop off, and Edwards, the finish.
Priscilla Williams now with 12 points to lead JU.
No shot, but more free throws coming for Florida State in the bonus. Priscilla Williams, a couple weeks ago, did have a big 19-point, 11-rebound double-double win against Hofstra. Her last 3 games averaging 11 and 8. Yeah, and against ACC competition, that's something you're going to want to carry over to ASUN play as Timpson steps back up to the stripe. 5 of 6 so far tonight, on the cusp of another double-double. And it is just the all-around performance that just makes your jaw drop, and how somebody can do a little bit of everything. She's just like a walking buffet out here.
Timpson is filling up the stat sheet for sure.
And quickly, another foul. This will send Sanaya Garrett to the line.
Florida State has done a better job, though, since that first quarter of limiting their fouls and allowing Jacksonville to get to the free throw line. Been there just twice in this quarter.
These will be just the 5th and 6th free throw attempts since the end of the first quarter, where Jacksonville attempted 13. Here's Sanaya Garrett, sophomore from Philadelphia, PA. It was funny talking to Special Jennings about her and saying, you know, I kind of feel bad because point guard is the toughest position to play on my team, because I play point guard, and you know what? I played it at an elite level. And she's still got her handles too. Coach will post her clips on Twitter, and I love it.
I bet she could get out there and hoop if she wanted to still. She looks like she's raring to go over there on the sidelines.
A lot of pride in her point guard and saying, hey, She's up to the task, and we love her. I'm glad we have her for her sophomore season and just continuing to watch Sanaya Garrett grow. Something that makes us think that we're going to be in that top half of the ASUN this year after finishing 9th last season with a 6-10 record.
Oh. Maria Gordon trying to swat the ball away. Swats the head of Sanaya Garrett, helps her up, no ill intent there, just going for the ball.
Philly kids are built like that, so.
She's tough, certain of that.
Friends Central School, same high school as NBA products, DeAndre Hunter, Hakeem Warwick. So 4 miles from Lower Marion. There is a basketball hotbed in there. I think that's where schools like Jacksonville and you see those mid-majors really thrive, where just kids that are from those types of cities, they can be built different, like I was saying. And you know, hey, they might not be highly recruited, but they have that chip on their shoulder. They know how to compete in games against ACC, SEC teams like Jacksonville has played this year.
Absolutely. Special Jennings has built a nice schedule so that it's allowed her team to have some success, but also have some challenges as well. And I think that prepares them well for the ASUN play.
Great fake by Bowles into the lane. Can't get it to drop with the right hands. But why not? You want some more free throws? You got them.
That's going to be on Edwards, which is just her second. I thought the official had given 5 fingers, which would have been on Mitchell, and it would have been her 4th, which would have been a big loss for JD.
Mariana Valenzuela returns, replacing KK Timpson. Still stuck on those 9 boards.
Valenzuela missed the first 6 games of the season as she recovered from missing all of last season with that ACL injury, and still working her way back in, but started to show some flashes of what we saw from her as a sophomore. Knocked down a couple of threes last time out for Florida State.
After 43s just a couple of seasons ago, shot better than 50% from behind the arc. But I know Lonnie Almeida will say the same thing about other players that have had knee injuries. She said it's that mental part too and getting over it. Good defense there, forcing the travel. Valenzuela, right, it's just about getting those game reps. You can only practice so much. You need to get the feel of going up and down the floor once again.
Sure. That's you know what you're missing when you can't get out there with that ACL injury. You can run on a treadmill or do some things in the athletic training room, but you need that experience. And again, Mariana Valenzuela working her way back, and look out to come ACC play.
Make some sweet music right there. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Valenzuela. Her first basket. It's Florida State up by 27 late in the 3rd quarter. Nice drop off.
Oh, nice pass. Garrett. No move needed for Knight. Her first bucket of the game.
Freshman from Louisville, Kentucky. Getting some more run here. Valenzuela. Why not?
Must have hurt us, Sean.
You can take credit for that, partner. That was all you. Played for Special Jennings at Montverde Academy a couple of years ago in her senior season. Showing her head coach what she maybe knew already. Garrett drops it in right next to Valenzuela. Shot clock turned off for Florida State.
Senior point guard Gordon doesn't even need to be told by her head coach, hey, we'll hold for 1 shot. Florida State in their horn set.
Into the lane. Oh, can't get the roll, and Williams does not get it off in time. And that sends us to the final 10 minutes of non-conference play for Florida State. Strong 3rd quarter, preserve a big halftime.
Teams in the Sunshine State last season looking to try to move to 4-0 here with 2 more opportunities. As you mentioned, with the new teams in the ACC, Florida State will only have 1 opponent that they play twice, and that is their traditional rival in the Miami Hurricanes, under new head coach Tricia Cullop.
The Canes out in Hawaii the next couple of days.
They are living it up in Maui, I think. before taking a break and heading home to start ACC play.
Still a work trip, though, right?
Sure.
Right? Not a bad place to go to work.
Amen to that. Nice
Out for
play.
the foul.
Speaking of going to work, Amaria Gordon going to work. She's got 15 points now. 7 assists for the senior from Sarasota.
And playing lockdown defense as well. She'll switch on the big Williams. Nice job by Bowles to knock it away, but a foul after. Bowles, Coach Wyckoff, and a whole lot of people wearing garnet and gold could not believe that whistle.
Bowles came over and helped side, swatted the ball away. Didn't see a lot of contact. Must have gotten her on the hand or the arm. Bowles not happy. Brooke Wyckoff having to encourage Sydney Bowles over there on the sideline.
Layup too strong. And the 7th double-double of the season to Makayla Timpson after her 10th rebound. Dos Santos. Can't get traced there.
Oh, and KK Timpson picks up her 4th personal foul, going for a loose ball rebound. So that double-double for Timpson will make it 38 on her career.
3 more, right?
3 more to tie the great Natasha Howard at 41 is the school record for double-doubles. Gotta think KK Timpson on pace to do that.
Timpson will.
Not if she keeps picking up fouls, however.
She's earned a bit of rest. The catalyst behind this 28-point lead.
She's unselfish. She wants to give her teammates an opportunity to shine.
And now Gordon is whistled for the personal. Florida State, in just 71 seconds, has racked up 3 fouls.
Announced over the PA system, free Chick-fil-A for everybody in attendance. The Seminoles hit 80. They've hit 80 every single game here at the Tuck so far this season.
Not even just 80. In Florida State's 7 previous home games before tonight, they have hit 90 points in every single one. The consistency has been something special from this dynamic and deep group. Valenzuela, book it!
Ariana Valenzuela now 3 of 4 from the three-point line today. Now when she starts getting heated up for Florida State, that's just one more weapon from beyond the bonus sphere.
Mitchell too strong, tapped out. Garrett drops it off.
Ooh, still
Not
too
there.
strong.
Valenzuela scoops up the board. Gordon had it blocked. No whistle.
Wow.
Here's Burns. Looking for some help here. Mitchell not shy. Knocks it down from the corner.
Really nice kick out there by Priscilla Williams. Got into the paint, drew the defense in, and then found Mitchell in the corner.
Team high 14 points for Kamari Mitchell. Jacksonville missing its leading scorer. They're showing they have some pieces that are ready to compete in conference play. Garrett ahead of the pack. Nice Euro. Can't convert. The Dolphins stepped on the sideline before that potential save by Mitchell. Timeout Florida State in the opening minutes of the 4th quarter. The Noles in complete control in the 4th. Florida State looking to close out non-conference play 11-2, 10-2. Already the 1 win over SMU in ACC play, and from here on out, it is only ACC opponents. They'll start at Castle Coliseum on ACC Network January 2nd. They'll welcome Syracuse before they head out west. A little double dip. Palo Alto, then Berkeley. 6 teams ranked in the top 25 from the ACC this week as the Noles draw a foul right out of the break. You feel, is it Notre Dame's conference to lose? They've had some impressive top 10 wins here in December. Who do you have an eye on in Florida State maybe finishing up towards the top of the pack once again?
Yeah, I think you have to take a look at Duke as well. They're playing extremely well right now. I think North Carolina is in the top 25. Georgia Tech is the one that really, I think, has surprised some folks. That hasn't surprised me. They've got a tough squad there. Now Fortner doing a great job. I think, you know, they're looking to be near the top as well. And then you've always got NC State and Louisville. Don't ever count out Westmore or Jeff Walls. So it is going to be a tough league. Last bracketology, I think I said like at 13 teams in the ACC or something like that expected to make the NCAA tournament. Was crazy.
Florida State looking to build off a 12-6 conference record last year. Good drive and finish by Bailey Burns, the sophomore, getting extended playing time. Only averages about 9 minutes per game, but sometimes the margins like this, you're missing your leading scorer. Let her run. Bowles short on her try from deep. Burns feeling it, picked it up in a tough spot. Good defense by Dos Santos. Williams. Got some good drives and finishes tonight.
Yeah, Williams, the high school All-American, looking like she's returned to that form. Started her career at Syracuse, spent a year at USF, spent a year at Oregon, and now has seemed to have found a home here in Jacksonville with Special Jennings.
There we go, getting into the holiday spirit. Bill Ferrara, I know I missed the memo on the ugly sweaters, but hey, the mastermind behind Florida State's high-powered attack, second in the country in points per game this year. You ever have something you wear around the holidays? You have a lucky sweater or something?
Everybody's got a lucky sweater. Everybody's got an ugly sweater, right? Come on, Sean.
Listen, I thought we were going to see it tonight.
For special occasions.
Okay, but tonight was the night, no?
I apologize that I wasn't sold out for it.
Oh, with less than 2 ticks on the shot clock, Florida State going to be called for a block. Dos Santos with her first. Tried to take one, instead it puts Priscilla Williams at the line. I mentioned she's been breaking out recently, averaging 8 and 6, right? Good for any player starting with a new team. But over her last 3 games entering tonight, 11 points per game, shooting just under 50% from the floor, 8 boards, 3 assists. After she was really quiet and cold, averaging 3 points per game in her previous 4. She's up to a team-high 16 now to go with 7 boards.
And she certainly will be someone that will be counted on in ASUN play. She's been against the best of the best in the leagues that she's played in. She will be battle-tested for sure.
Gordon almost working on her own double-double, up to 19 points after the midi. And in traffic, Mariah Knights will have a chance for a 3-point play.
I believe they're going to whistle Avery Treadwell for that. She had to have gotten her on the hand or the arm because there wasn't much body contact.
They actually called it on Dos Santos.
Oh, maybe Ayani Dos Santos got her from behind. But yeah, like I said, I didn't see much contact from Treadwell. Guess that's why that wasn't her foul.
We roll on, getting towards the midway mark of the 4th quarter. It was 31-31, about midway through the 2nd quarter. And then big Florida State run, went into the locker room up by 20. And it has been right around that margin the entire second half. Jacksonville is just a team that does not go away. They are tough, they are gritty. Their head coach loves it about this group. The way they have competed without their leading score at 19 points per game is something you have to be impressed with. Gordon can't finish. Nearly got a hand on that one. Telleria scores and a foul.
Ani Dos Santos tried to get down to take the charge. They would not give her that, said she was not set. Telleria will go to the free throw line after this.
Jacksonville refuses to go quietly into the night. Cut a huge deficit down to 19 just midway through the fourth quarter. This is what they have coming up. Another power opponent just after Christmas in Tuscaloosa. They'll play the Tide once again before opening up ASUN play at Central Arkansas and at North Alabama. Special Jennings said, you know, basketball is all about adversity. I want to put my team in tough positions because I don't panic. And when teams see that from me, I want to instill that confidence and belief in them. KK Timpson called for a travel on the drop step.
KK Timpson a little bit of disbelief there. She didn't feel like she'd shuffled her feet. But you're right, Special Jennings has put her team in a really good position to have a strong finish in the ASUN. I think these games, tough places to play, like Tallahassee here, like Tuscaloosa, like Starkville, Mississippi earlier this season, you know, have prepared her team well.
Loose ball into the hands of Bonner. Nudges the defender and finishes in traffic.
Bonner puts her shoulder down. I think she was trying to draw a foul. No harm, no foul on that one.
Just a little excuse me.
Like to get to the basket, if you could move, please.
Nearly another steal. Valenzuela couldn't get to it. Burns, blocked by Timpson. A career-high 8 blocks on the night, and Timpson running the floor is rewarded.
Maria Gordon, the point guard, with her eyes up at all times, like every good point guard should be, finds KK Timpson wide open behind the defense.
Timpson 27, 10, and 8. Maria Gordon an assist shy of a double-double herself. She's up to a career-high 9 assists. Can't get the 10th there. Bowles misfires on that 3. There's Sanaya Garrett, refusing to go away, is sent back once more. That might have been
another block from KK Timpson. Not sure if she'll get credit for that one, but she altered the shot.
Oh yeah! Mariana Valenzuela and fuego here in the second half.
Mariana Valenzuela, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. 12 points, a season high for Valenzuela. She is a career 48% three-point shooter. The assist from Gordon. Valenzuela drains it.
And a double-double for Omaria Gordon. 10th assist, again, a new career high for the senior point guard. Don't you love that? 10 assists, 0 turnovers. Well, you have to feel good for Valenzuela. Had just 6 threes in her first 6 games back from the injury that kept her out all of last year. There you go. Somebody must have told her the news. It has been a total team effort for Florida State. That's just what you love about the depth and what all these different personalities and skill sets can bring on any given night.
Yeah, and again, they're doing this without arguably their best player in Tanaya Latson, who went out earlier with what appeared to be an ankle injury, and now it's given a chance for players like Omaria Gordon to really step up and shine when called upon. Players like Mariana Valenzuela, Sydney Bowles, Carla Villegas, all in double figures for Florida State here tonight, showing that they've got other weapons besides just Tanaya Latson.
Burns inside. Tall arms at Timpson, got a piece. She secures another rebound.
I'd give her another block as well. I feel like she got her hand on that one. Let's see if the stat crew agrees with me.
Bowles in the lane, can't hit. Priscilla Williams up the floor. Like so many of these other Knowles, she's been all over the place. Knight stays strong. Telleria, no. Pinballs around, and of course, I think that's just the one you tap to her to It's a wise choice. If I was an underclassman, I would just do the same
I'd tap
thing.
into KK Timpson, too. She's got good hands.
Valenzuela puts it on the deck, on the drive. No shot, but a foul. 14 foul on Jacksonville, so no free throws just yet as Avery Treadwell checks in.
Gotta think that's it for KK Timpson. She will finish 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 blocks.
Valenzuela scoops it up. Oh, and with her back to the basket. Just turned her head around enough to know where she was. Lays it in for her first 2-point basket tonight. On the other end, Mitchell, no good. Gets her own miss. Kick to the corner. It's good. Bailey Burns knocks down the three, and we will have a substitution timeout.
Boykoff just wants to get Amaria Gordon out of the game and Hayani Dos Santos back in. So Amaria Gordon will finish her night, 19 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. How about this? 10 assists, no turnovers.
Bears repeating time and time again to have
Can't
a
ask
point
for
guard.
better point guard play.
It simply does not turn the ball over. Even entering tonight, Amaria Gordon averaged just 1 turnover per 23 minutes. And that's going to get even higher after this virtuoso performance against the Dolphins. Closing in on the final minutes of the final non-conference game of the year. Villegas, huge in the second quarter to build a big lead for the Noles at halftime. He's helped them cruise to win number 11 today. Bowles is on the sideline. We'll go back to Jacksonville as they try to spin this into a positive, and I think it is for Jacksonville. Again, there was that barrage early, and then after it was 31-all, like we said, playing at Florida State's pace will benefit them more often than not, but they showed a lot of grit here tonight.
I'll tell you what, I have been impressed most with Kamari Mitchell, the freshman. That mid-range game has been deadly for her. 16 points now to tie a team high with Priscilla Williams. Inside Treadwell.
Got the defense moving. Telleria guilty of the foul, and 2 free throws coming with 33 seconds left.
Game eerily similar to last season's battle between these two teams. It was a final Florida State 99, Jacksonville 73. Just about on pace for a very similar score.
Mitchell got bumped.
Didn't see what happened, but she went flying across the floor. Now appears to be holding her leg. Certainly don't want that.
It looked like
She has been such a bright spot for this team.
yeah, it just looked like an inadvertent collision with 2 players looking at the basketball. Saw Sanaya Craig go down for Jacksonville earlier, but she did return. And for Mitchell, like you said, she has been a big bright spot, making her first career start tonight on the road against an ACC opponent and really holding her own, staying aggressive. 16 points, 8 rebounds. We hope she just bumped knees. And I believe it was Sydney Bowles in first glance. But it's good to see her pick herself back up and walk off under her own power. Special Jennings did mention, hey, we have a couple of pieces that we added to our 11 and 20 team from last year, and I think we're going to compete. It doesn't matter if Carl Smesko, the longtime coach at Florida Gulf Coast that has just won ASUN championships year in and year out. We don't care that he took the Atlanta Dream job. We're focused on us. We think the conference is open just because we believe in what's in our gym, what's on our sideline.
You know they're going to bring the energy every night. That's for sure with a Special Jennings coach team. They're going to play with that same energy and passion that she played with. So you know you're going to get their very best each and every time they step out.
Telleria off the rim, Burns, final second, no, Valenzuela secures it. And the Noles once again pour it on here at home. 8th straight game to start the season.